Right, can we, ladies and gentlemen, start with our meeting for today? There's no apologies for absence now. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest or personal interest or prejudicial interests? Peter?
I've got a couple of bills you've got to pay me.
Yeah, okay.
There's a bill we've got to pay me.
Right, the
Like
planning.
normal planning, yeah, not for non-predetermination.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And the personal interest in the planning application.
Okay. We've all had a chance, I guess, to read the minutes. Can we take them as a correct record of our last meeting, please? Yeah. All those, yeah. Thank you. Talk amongst yourselves while I just sign all my life away. Don't have to date it, do I?
No, I thought we had it anyway.
We seem to go on a lot, don't
6
we?
pages last time, it's almost a record actually. I thought we had 6 pages last time, it's almost a record, eh? Previous record was 5. No, I'm not writing it as well. There was no
Giving practice.
New person. Thank you. Right, so the first item now is to consider the planning application, and I think Bob and Kelly can stay. Okay. So the planning application we're considering is change of use of guest house to dwellings at the Woodlands Hotel. Cynthia, you have had a good look at this.
I have,
Would you
yes.
like to kindly present your thoughts
Okay.
to the council?
Well, I'll just start as if you haven't heard anything. This is a change of use, application for change of use of the guest house to 2 dwellings. Okay, and the applicant is Mr. Paul McLean. Location is Woodlands Hotel, Hill Lane, Brent Knoll. Have you seen the plans? Have you got the plans? Would anyone like to see them? They are on the side.
Yeah, but you mentioned 2 dwellings, it's 3.
Well, no.
It came to the
Yeah, well, this on the application it's 2 because we're talking about the guest house. The other is there anyway. It's the one that is the cottage
So
is
the
there.
other 2 there as well. I
I know, but what I'm saying is this is the application to change of use of the guest house.
thought it was going to get home early tonight.
It may not be done. So that's as it is on here. So
Right.
Sorry, John.
you know, okay. Right. Now the house.
Excuse me. Sean had his hand up. I didn't. Oh, sorry.
Right, okay. Right, okay. The house identified as Woodlands House will be identified as Woodlands House, will remain as the property of the applicant. The extension is to be converted into a house. This is the application for change of use, which will be known as Birch Tree House. The accommodation will consist of 3 bedrooms upstairs, 2 downstairs, a bathroom and an office converted into a kitchen, diner, cloakroom and a family room. There is also a separate cottage, 3-bedroom cottage, which is called Ginkgo Tree Cottage, which is already on the property. Both Birch Tree House and Ginkgo Tree Cottage will be offered for sale. Now, under the material considerations that go through the design, there is a design statement. If anyone wants to look at it, it's very thorough. There's everything in there. A design statement attached to the application. There will be no change of character and appearance of the buildings, including the front lawn and surrounding area, and no extensions to current footprint of the building or external structures. So basically, it will remain, it's looking the same. And highways, there were no comments. Just regarding the access, which is the driveway, will be shared by the 3 residences and a designated area, shared area for the refuse, recycling bins, etc. And obviously the visitor parking will be along the drive. So in that sense, it's there's no impact on the there's no impact on the landscape. Private amenities for ginkgo tree, cottage and birch tree house. There's going to be an boundary fencing erected to maintain the privacy of the garden areas to the east of the main house, and the outlook of the main house is to the southwest. And this should be done with no impact, and it should be done in a way which shouldn't be visible from the road. Okay. Under residential amenities, there will be no loss of privacy, but there will be a significant drop in the amount of traffic using the access drive, and obviously noise levels will be lower because there'll be less. It'll be residential use rather than a guest house. So in that respect, now comments online were from the Transport Development Group, which was no comment. The environmental health supporting information states that the property is maintained connected to the main sewer. They are asking for some details, and the environmental health land drainage building control will deal with surface water drainage and may require a soil infiltration test, of which obviously we don't have. And that actually was it. I have gone through everything, and I think you've had quite a good presentation from Mr. McLean and asked your questions. And so I have, and there is one comment which we came in today from a local resident regarding do I need to say what it is, or?
It would be beneficial for your fellow councillors.
Yes, right, okay. Can I say who it is?
No, I don't know the person actually.
No, right, okay. The comments were no provision for garages, and he's concerned if an application was applied for later, feels it would detract from rural aspect. But obviously, this was a private house once, and any additional planning will be considered on its own merit, and we can only really look at what is before us tonight. It isn't part of the plan.
Is this application just for change of use, or is it be all and end all? If we vote, it will be supporting the actual plans laid down, or is it just a change of use?
It's change of use,
Change of use
against the plans as we have submitted. The comment that Cynthia's just raised, and the concern that Cynthia's been raised, is out with the planning application, and would have to be considered separately.
It's quite a separate thing.
If indeed that ever came up in the future.
Yeah.
So what we're judging at the moment is the application for change of use.
It's just change of use.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, okay. And, right, and so basically on the information that I've just given you and what you've heard, I subject to the query be the main sewer by the environmental health. I would recommend the Parish Council to support this application on the grounds of an extra dwelling will be beneficial really to the village, and I think in keeping with the location that it's in. It's not going to
Does anybody have any questions of Cynthia? Just for clarification, the query I think on the sewage was a map seemed to indicate that the current property was not on main sewage, and I suspect they have an old map.
Yes.
The house next door is on a septic tank, which was originally part of the plan.
That was my view.
Yeah.
So, can we just have a vote, please? All those in favour of accepting the proposal? That's unanimous. Thank you. So our recommendation, to Sedgemoor will be to accept your application.
Thank you.
An extra dwelling.
extra two dwellings.
It's an extra, it would be an extra dwelling, but two will be, yeah, sorry.
Sympathetic development.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And the noise level will improve because we...
Well, yes, you see,
Thank you very much. Do you want to add that? Have you been...
No, he's being
Can
Peter.
do.
He's being Peter.
Big one.
I'll write down whatever you want me to write down. I don't mind.
I'll just this one.
No. Okay.
Lovely.
Receive a report on footpaths, Mr. Peter.
Right. Not too bad at the moment. Plenty of cars around. Where did I go? Oh, the footpath alongside of the reservoir. They've done the fence up now, so that is secure. The concrete post had disappeared, the one that kept falling over, I kept pushing back. I had a comment from a parishioner regarding the footpath that goes down the side of Ivyclad Hall and around the back and comes out opposite the Red Cow. All the way around now we've got gates except for one star. So I went and saw the lady that owned the property and asked if she had any problem with me removing the star, and she said she had none. But she doesn't keep stock in the field. They've got a gate one side of the bridge, so it'll still be secure anyway. So I'm going to go down and remove the star, so therefore anybody can walk around the whole footpath now without having to climb the star.
Excellent, excellent.
Just to describe where that is again once more.
It's if you go in between the houses at
It's opposite, well,
yeah,
it's
was
an
it
old-
Crazy Cotton, the red, not the red house, the top was.
Was it
The Wardens.
You mean?
Sorry, yeah, the red house.
That should be
I got,
a few minutes.
what's it called?
Huh?
What's it called? This is a little lane, isn't it?
Yeah, not Bodies, it's the other end of Bodies Lane, but it's a field.
All right.
So
Okay.
It's a field.
I think it's somewhere else.
yeah, it's A5.
Oh,
It comes down around here and
Okay.
this.
A5 on the footpath, whatever.
It's the first one you come to.
Is that your window?
Yeah, no, next door.
All right, okay.
So no other issues on footpaths, Peter? Thank you very much indeed.
Right.
Highway reports. Is that? No. Nothing to report.
Curbstone
Curbstone's
outside
done.
of Kennett.
That's done, hasn't it?
No,
Right.
still walls.
No curbstone.
Potholes.
There are still some in Brent Street, I noticed, on the right, opposite the house next to the hairdresser again.
Is that the one?
Very bad.
There's been one there for some time, hasn't there?
Yeah, but that was done.
That was done,
These are new ones.
Yeah.
The road is really crumbling away badly. Yeah.
I think what we can do now is ask Dave Adams to do a general survey of the area, really. Because if your phone counted, you'll just simply say, does it meet the criteria?
Yeah,
I think at one stage there were plans to resurface that side of the road completely,
Yes, it was.
but we've not heard anything about that ever since.
That was
This
last
is
year.
the resurfaced Brent Street.
Brent Street from Manor Ride up to the post office.
It may be worthwhile not pursuing that until they finish doing the pumping station
Right, yes, but
and the culvert. But
When I came down the Lane this morning, from the bridge, you go along and then you've got the drive to New Dawn. From that area there up to Laurel Cottage, the road is dropping away, it's subsiding, and there's big potholes. It's dangerous.
So Laurel Cottage.
Very nice,
And
isn't it?
don't go up there very often, so we've not noticed it
So
before.
we were talking about an area from Laurel Cottage to... what did
Yeah,
you say?
from to New Dawn,
To New
which is
Dawn.
before the bridge.
Before the bridge.
that's Station Road.
Outside Mr Sandy's farm,
The Wick Lane.
Okay.
outside Mr Sandy's farm.
there's a legal entrance. He's got some wood in the gutter so that he can go up over the curb. Well, that's okay, but the other day I had to pull in, I had to go up over the wood because of vehicle coming the other way. It's,
So he hasn't got a drop curve for entrance.
so he hasn't got a drop curb and it blocks the gutter for the rain.
it is an illegal entrance, isn't
It is.
what rights have we got to contact him direct, or do we have to do it through Sedgwick?
Waste of time.
So can you pin that on? The lines near Body's Corner still haven't been done.
And I don't think there will be either from the comments I've had from highways. I mean, I've asked them.
What kind of comment?
Well, they're just saying the road's not wide enough.
Well, why did they put them there?
Well, they're saying the road does not subscribe to the right width now to put lines on.
That's a load of rubbish.
It's a safety issue, really. I would think. It's a safety issue.
It is rubbish because that's dangerous, that corner.
Can I just go back
Don't
to
believe it.
Sandy's farm?
I'll raise again.
Yeah, Sandy's
Yes,
fine,
sorry.
If there's a piece of wood in the road to enable him to go up the curb, shouldn't there be a dropped curb?
Yeah.
Well, normally, I don't know if it's highways or who it is, will actually stop you doing it because you're going against the law of going up over the pavement, because anybody else will get into the most terrible trouble if they did it.
So the only thing
So why can Mr.
can we not make
Mr. Sam
can't we make correspondence with Sedgwick?
Well, it would be highways, wouldn't it?
Highways.
Highways.
Am I right in saying that?
Wow.
So
years ago, this, sorry,
no drop curve.
years ago this subject cropped up. In fact, I took a photograph of him coming out of there, sent it up to Sedgwick, and nothing was ever done.
Right. But I suppose the additional thing is not only the fact that the access is, or to facilitate the access, is also blocking the drain.
Yeah.
But
We
if
used to pick it up and take it in and put it out.
But it's got glass in it.
Yeah.
This is Wick Lane?
No, this is Brent Street.
Nearly opposite.
Opposite.
Oh, is this the
Scrapyard.
Yeah.
the infamous eyesore?
Steps goes back there.
He was there again.
But I think it's Malcolm again, if there's nothing else. Village Green and toilet block. I saw you out there as I came in.
No, I've just started.
Oh, you just
Peter
started.
was on.
I'll beg your pardon.
Yeah. I've spent most of the month on Village Green.
And you've done a fine job, Peter.
Yeah, well, the grass has been cut once, and it's grown as quickly as they cut it. Everything is as normal as it can be, but falling apart. We're pretty well down to half of it is pretty good entertainment for the kids. We've got no goalpost, which we removed. We've got no seesaw, which was removed. But Brian will come on to that later. The toilets are as fine as they were. Thank you to Brian, to Bella and Roger for donating the steps, which I've used straight away to sort out the gutter around the toilet. And I'm not using them on the flag yet, because I'm going to show David what to do. And I've not set the timer on the toilet block lights, but we can come on to the flood prevention. Andrew Warren and myself came up this month and started up the pump, and everything was okay, but we didn't visit the farm and the trailer with all the equipment.
Peter, just to clarify, I think, do you want to cover what the minutes?
So last minute.
The last minutes.
I need to read.
No, I was going to raise it because I spoke to George about you done the guttering, rather than George.
No, not the gutter where
The piece of the back.
No, not that bit. The bit where it was all leaking, and I went up there and it was full up with mud. There was a tennis ball in it or something. Just cleared all that out and put the two bits together so that the water wasn't running out.
Right.
It manifested itself because I could see the water, because it was one of those days when the sun wasn't shining, which we had a few of.
And do we have to know whether the piece of George has done it with the back yet?
I don't know. I didn't know.
Because I gave him a go to do that, because he gave us quite £100 to do the taps.
Yeah.
And also the guttering. Probably see from here actually where he's done it.
I haven't filled out a sheet because I couldn't download them. I'm a failure.
I can't quite see from there.
In terms of...
Don't worry, I've got all those comments you made.
Thank you.
In terms of what we had last time, I think that's covered all the actions. In terms of the quotes for the tap, have we actually instigated that?
Yeah, George, well, I don't know if he's done it, but he's certainly been given the go to do it.
Right.
So I would have thought we were done by now, actually.
I
That's
wasn't aware of anything leaking.
Just going to put these
New
different type of taps on.
in the ladies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because we agreed that at the last meeting, sanctioned that.
Okay, so thank you. Moving on to flood mitigation group. Did you?
As I just said,
You said that you had a meeting.
well, only Andrew and myself, not all the members, we didn't call them and drill them, just restored the pump up. That's all we did.
Good.
So, Mr. Chairman, can I just ask David, there was something about moving the trailer out of Sue Boss's. Where is that at the moment?
It's still at Sue's at the moment, but we discussed
When you say
it
that,
last meeting.
Sue's undercover or
No, it's
outside?
outside with the tarpaulin over
It's got a tarpaulin
Yeah.
over it.
But
Okay.
I was going to sort it out in the next few days I'll sort it out and put what we can in the bit in the back of the toilet block.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
So we can't see the point of having some of it in the trailer still when there's space in there.
In the toilet.
The most important
Okay.
thing.
Okay, thanks.
Two things. One, should the pump be regularly maintained? And two, do the gas bottles degrade? Do they leak? If so, is there any way of measuring their content?
The normal way you do something similar with fire extinguishers was to weigh them, and just weight difference will show it's leaking. In terms of starting the pump, I don't know. Do we start the pump up regularly, or do you started up this time, obviously?
Pardon?
You started it up recently.
Yeah. Every 3 months.
And in terms of maintenance, do we have to do anything to it? Oh, it's oil and
It's
fuel, isn't it?
It's hours run really. I mean, you can see degradation. I mean, if you get in trouble, so 2 pours I even started it and not very strong. So, that is really good. It started easily.
Right.
Better than my lawnmower.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, we keep an eye on it and see it does.
Parish surgery. Who was it? Parish surgery.
Malcolm, well, a bit of confusion, and something I wanted to clarify. Peter was last month, Malcolm is June, and I just wanted to know from you whether you think that the last month one should do the parish surgery for the following month, or whether it should be the one that doing the month we're in. I think we just need to clarify that, because Peter kindly turned up this afternoon, and of course Malcolm was here as well. So I don't know how you want to do it. It's entirely a matter for you, really.
Well, I went by Bob because Bob did it last month. After
Yeah.
he'd done a month on the green, and I thought, oh, it's might as well. I actually contacted you to say when was it?
So it's really a question whether you do it in the month that actually applies to. So in other words, today, June, that would have been technically Malcolm, but that's not the way we've been doing it. It's been done a different way previously. So I don't mind. It's a matter for you.
I think it kills 2 birds with 1 stone by having it on the same day.
Yeah. So
As I did today.
Yes. So
It's fine.
you're happy with that?
Yeah, I am. I'm not good.
So what excitement did anybody have at the parish surgery today?
We had Viv Hares actually came along and talked about the loss of the weather bus.
Yeah.
And also we had Kim from the British Agent. That was all we had. No police today. Just Malcolm and I and Viv and.
Well, we are talking about the buses later on, or having a report on the buses, or lack of buses. So, Owen, Clark's matters, please.
There's not a great deal to say there, apart from just general communications, and I just want to clarify with you whether there are things that I communicate with you don't find that necessary, or whether you'd like more of what I do now. I mean, obviously the weekly reports are sent out now in all weeks that we don't have a meeting. How useful do you find those? It helps me when I'm doing it, because I can actually just run through the outstanding issues, and if I know that something's been done, I can add it to it in red. But just general communications, I'm happy to communicate in any way you want me to. I mean, emails have been fairly frequent over the last month. We've had quite a lot of emails. Do you find those useful? Do you wish I didn't send quite so many? Or?
We're going to say that it's me complaining again, but really, if you get too many, then you take no notice of those important ones.
Right.
It annoys me because I'm not a computer buff, but I'm looking in there and I've got 6 emails and 5 of them are thank you Owen for sending me a message.
Well, you don't need, you shouldn't need to have that actually, because if somebody replies back, they just reply back to the sender, not all of those that are listed.
Yes, I did as well.
Shouldn't do that, shouldn't get that necessarily.
Just forward to
It
you.
carries the thread on, I think.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, but if you press,
If you press
send, if you send to sender,
If you just send to the sender, then it won't happen.
but you reply to all.
The trouble is that it's a button, a thing you can tick very close to one another, and I'm guilty of it as well, that you sometimes miss, and it goes to everybody.
I'm sensitive sometimes about how many emails that perhaps are going out, and that's why I asked you the question as to whether it's useful information. I don't particularly want to filter them because it's not fair for me to filter them. I shouldn't really determine what I'm sending and what I'm not sending.
No, shouldn't.
I should really send you everything. And then,
Yeah, I've got no problem with that side. Yeah, I've got a problem.
Can we all try, please, that if it's just a matter of acknowledging the fact that you've received correspondence from Owen, you confirm it to Owen and not to everybody, and then that would help.
And Peter, you are guilty of that. I see yours all the time. Because I have often thought, what does PTO mean? Please turn over. And I'm always like, well, where's that gone? But it's your name. It took me a little while. But you send your replies and we all see them.
Only if it's necessary.
But we don't need to see it. We don't need to see it.
Why not? If it's something to do with it, I don't got no problem. It's something to do with it.
And John, thanks very much. TVM, I don't need to see it.
Yeah, if it's a simple acknowledgement, we don't need to. But if it's adding something to the issue, then we definitely do need to see it. If it might be a point of view or an alternative angle or whatever, we definitely need to see people's opinions, please. If it's just a simple acknowledgement, no, that's fine. As long as people are seeing the emails, and that's the key thing. Because I'm conscious that some of you have had computer problems of late.
I know you're speaking about me.
No, not just you. It seems to be the populace of Brent Street.
Any emails at all?
The populace of Brent Street have had a plague of computer failure.
If at any stage you do have a computer problem and you want to know what you've missed, I'll stick them in an envelope. I can easily print them off and stick them in an envelope to you, so it's not a problem.
Well,
If I know that you haven't had something, then I'll send it to you by hard copy.
Right, no,
particularly if it's important stuff,
This is why I think in some ways it's very important that we all acknowledge to Owen that we have received something, because otherwise it could be something of importance, as Owen said, and if your computer's playing up, it may be that if you don't get a response within a week, you ought to be saying to somebody, why don't you respond if it is a particular issue, please?
Yeah, I mean the other thing is, I suppose, on things like the agenda, for example, technically I should be requesting on that you've received it, because we don't mail it now, we email it. I should actually be putting on there receipt, because otherwise I don't know whether you've received the agenda or not, which is quite a serious matter, really. I should know that I sent that to you.
But some you send out for information only. So
yes, exactly.
Make that clear.
If I make it information only, you know there's nothing to respond to. It's just for your reference. By the way, there is a circulation folder started again today. Chantry has got, so it's starting its rounds. So,
is there anything else on your...
No, there's nothing else on...
So on your correspondence received, I mean?
Well, the only thing I've received, which I'm not sure whether you have received by email, is this from Kevin Williams about the bus. Sorry to trouble you, but since the demise of Weber Bus, are there any bus services running to the village? Quite a simple question he's asking, and I've gone back to him and said we are discussing it at tonight's meeting, but I wouldn't hold out too much hope. That's what I said, or some words to that effect.
And as we're discussing it further down the agenda,
so I can go back and reply to him on that anyway. So that's the only actual item apart from that.
The only other thing I think is last time we had a proposal to accept an RLT3 application for Apex Park. The meeting of the coastal cluster was tonight, and obviously was coincided with this meeting, so Owen has expressed our wish that we supported the application and apologised if we wouldn't be present. By payments.
Payments, yeah. Well, obviously, you've got, some of you guys can only print off about 7 copies of that for some reason, but there's a statutory payments list. There's a couple of spare ones, if anybody hasn't got them. These are statutory payments agreed in April. The big one this month is obviously the Sedgemoor Part 1 payment, which includes the dog bin and the toilet contract. So that's the statutory payments. And then on the variable payments, we've got our annual insurance premium due, which in fact starts today. So quite timely actually. I had to give them an assurance last Friday that in fact we wanted to continue our insurance with them because it was quite close to the date. And I said, I took it on my shoulders to say that yes, we did want to continue insurance with them, and so we are insured from today. The monitoring group have had a look at the insurance policy this afternoon. We've been through the various aspects of it in terms of indemnities and so forth. And I think I'm right in saying that they are happy at the moment with what's being proposed by the insurance company.
The only apparent anomaly was the fact that the toilet block has an insurance of
138,000.
138,000. Estimate of rebuild would be probably 50. So Owen is going to talk to them about whether we could if we reduce the cover on the toilet block, literally. Whether that would cheapen the policy, but that would have to be next year rather than this year. Yes.
With a lot of policies, you don't get new for old, and with cars, for instance, if you have an accident, you get the
market value.
Market value, yes. So would that apply to the toilet?
I will follow that up and find out for you, because I think it's a fair point actually, and I don't quite know how that kind of works really.
No doubt a loss adjuster will be involved.
Yeah.
And if we were shown to be negligent because we knocked it down and wished to pocket the difference, but I'm sure they'll pick that up, unfortunately.
I'll just run through the other payments. I'll come back to John and Peter in a minute because obviously they're declaring pecuniary interest. So
should we ask them to leave the room at that point?
At that point, we should do.
I'm afraid.
We should do. I know it seems very pedantic, but we want to do things properly, aren't we, I suppose, really. From the point of view of doing things that should be done. Ian Durston's general maintenance. This is one that actually, I must admit, I've forgotten actually, because there was some work he did with Peter on the gates, wasn't it, Peter? That was quite a substantial job he did with you, and unfortunately he didn't get around to doing the invoice until fairly recently. So that's why it appears there, although quite rightly you might say, well, what's actually been done for us recently? It was actually what he did last year, not what he has done this year. So that's the total invoice there of 425.
Chairman, could I just ask, did he give a breakdown as to what
He's given me some information here. I can tell you what the breakdown is there. Give me just a second. I think he wrote it down actually. Still not just sells a minute. Indeed.
The fence outside here, I know, one of them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what that one was.
425, here we are. What does it say here? Provide 11th of July 2015, provide post rails and labour to repair a fence on the side of footpath leading up to Brent Knoll.
It's not done it.
That's 11th of July 2015.
He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that. That's
Okay.
what I said to you today.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was the one you mentioned to me.
Yeah.
And he's quoted £60 for that. 5th of September 2015, provide 2.4 metre high times 12 metres long chain link fence and labour to replace a damaged existing fence at Brent Knoll Village Hall. So that's the one there. So that's, we know is done. That was £250. And then provide labour fixings and concrete required to remove a wooden stile and replace it with galvanised kissing gate supplied by Brent Knoll Parish Council on a footpath on the grounds of Bullcops Hall.
That's it.
So that one, and there's 115. So the only one of those he hasn't done is the post and rail on the footpath.
I think he did it higher up.
That was at the top.
Yeah,
Oh, was it?
up
Oh,
the top.
Yeah.
There was one up there.
So he has done one,
Yeah.
I'm sure he did a year ago.
but he needs to do the lower one as well.
He did one straight away.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. So are you happy that are you happy with what he's provided provided the information.
Yeah, good actually.
So we just need to ask him now, as Colin mentioned earlier, about the lower one. We need to get him to give us a quote on that, I guess. The SALT subscription for 2016-17, £329.23. The SALT training, which again was another late invoice, that came from last July, that one for the training that we had here last July, £60, which actually didn't seem quite as much as I would have thought it would have been, because there were quite a few went to it, weren't there? So, well, perhaps they've given us a concession because they were here. And then the other one, which perhaps needs a little bit more, I'm not quite sure exactly what is included in it, is Amanda Reason's invoice